TowerFall Ascension, spend or save. On the Steam page it says, TowerFall Ascension is a definitive version of a hit archery combat game inspired by classics from the golden age of couch multiplayer. It's a 4-player local party game centered around hilarious, intense versus matches. The core mechanics are simple and accessible, but hard to master, and the combat is fierce. Loot treasure chests for game-changing power-ups, master the art of catching arrows out of the air, or descend on your foes and stomp them into submission. TowerFall is played competitively with friends, cross-legged on the floor within punching distance from each other. Alright, so this footage that you're watching here is on PlayStation 4. I'm playing this with a controller, obviously. I'm not sure how it will pan out with a mouse and keyboard, but I'm guessing I'd probably prefer it better on a mouse and keyboard because of the arrow where you aim your bow to shoot. It'd probably be a lot easier with a mouse because then you can get it spot on the direction you want to, whereas with a controller it's kind of hard with the analog stick trying to aim whilst you're moving at the same time, and a lot of console players will know what I'm talking about. But Steam page, it says it costs $10.99, which I've got to say is quite steep for a game like this. A lot of the games that 2D indie games that you'll find usually around £3 or £4 or dollars, but I've got to say that this is fully worth it. It's a classic game, and I'm not a fan of 2D indie games like this. I like the Call of Duty, the Battlefield, the AAA titles. I love them, but this isn't. When I first looked at it, I thought it was going to be a no-buy because I just don't like games like this. But I played this and it's surprisingly good. There's a lot of intensity to the levels, because when you get further on the game, it does get very hard. It's not easy to get past the wave. On the last level, for example, you get, I don't know, I think it's like 6 or 7 waves of enemies who fly at you. You've got to take them out. And if, let's say you're on the 7th wave, for example, you fail that wave, you've got to start all over again. I found myself screaming at my PlayStation because it does get frustrating. I think it's more frustrating than COD. There's 2 different ways of eliminating enemies. You can do the old Mario where you get on top of them and jump on their heads, or you can use your arrows. Your arrows, the amount of arrows you use per enemy is dependent on the strength of the enemy that you're facing. Like as you saw there, the ghost can sometimes jog if they're facing you and you shoot an arrow at them, they can dodge your first arrow, and while they're dazed you have to take them out with your second arrow. As I said before, this is a hard game, and the further on you get, the higher the intensity gets. And if you like high intensity games, I think this is a game for you. It's a very good time waster. I found myself spending about an hour on my first PlayStation. I thought it was about 20 minutes. And this is what this game brings you. And games like this, if they're decent enough, they are just time wasters. And this is a brilliant one. You probably know what I'm going to say already. Definitely spend on this game. If you've got a PS4, this game's free. If you've got PlayStation Plus, go out and grab it. If you don't, $10.99. It's not too bad. Either wait for a sale or grab it now. Definitely worth it.